Yeah, it's 3:16. Yes. And I just got in here a couple minutes ago. Having some difficulty explaining to law enforcement the importance of the enforcement of the laws. Yes. And I thought we better go through it again because the screen prints that I sent, yeah, it looks to me like you're not enforcing my rights as a father. Now, in 2011, yes, I wasn't actually a resident of the state of Washington. And I know we talk about this every day, but you're going to have to remove your protection order. Then we had that petition for renewal after you arrested me on the 27th or 28th of May. I actually didn't violate the protection order. I was found not guilty. Yes. There was no need to reissue it because it was good until August 12th of 2011. Yes. And I think it had to be enforced during the whole trial. Oh. Now, I know you would have thought that you could just reissue protection orders whenever you want, being the court that you are, but you probably have to be tried for violating the protection order that was issued at the time of the arrest. Yeah. Not the protection order that you decided to cancel. Now, I know there's probably a legal word for no longer having a valid protection order. Yes, yes, yes. But when you reissued it on May 31st of 2012, it was no longer valid. I actually couldn't get charged with violating a protection order that no longer existed. Yes, yes. And then there was no actual notice from May 31st of 2012 to June 15th of 2012. Yes. hmm And then the petition for the renewal of the order. And then you reissued the protection order by minute order. Yes. Not giving me 5 judicial days before the court hearing. Yes. There was no proof of service. And then sheriff's return of service, yes, on 6/28 of 2012. Yeah. Now, you had a motion hearing on July 6th of 2012 before I was actually in a jury trial. Yeah. Where you said that I had violated it. Yes, I had broke it, Pooch. And you decided to reissue it without waiting for the actual judgment from the jury. Yes. But Commissioner Kniebs decided to reissue it for a year. Uh-huh. And then you served me, after you had reissued it on June 6th of 2012. Yes. And then I had the jury trial on approximately the 24th of July of 2012, where I was found not guilty. hmm Now, you can't use as the reasoning to reissue a protection order without the actual jury convicting you of violating it. Now, I'm asking you to remove it. Okay. Now, just looking at the European Union, yes. They have what's well, it looks like a lot of the citizens in the European Union have certain rights that we don't have in the United States, but the United States is obligated to make sure that American citizens have their rights enforced. Yes. Now, I thought you were confused about reading some actual literature from other nations. Oh. Now, let's just look at the screen prints because I haven't gotten any phone calls. I don't know where my missing sons are. Ooh. And now, this article number 3, yes, prohibition of torture and inhumane or degrading treatment or punishment. No one shall be subjected to torture or to inhumane or degrading treatment or punishment. You might consider it inhumane, degrading, yes, to completely ignore 1,900,000 emails. Yes, yes, yes. And then this no one should be held in slavery or servitude, Article number 5. Ooh. Every time you've arrested me in May of 2012, I did not get any due process because I wasn't a resident. And then you arrested me for violating this protection order that was issued on July 31st of 2015. Yes, where I did not get any notice or opportunity to be heard. Yeah, I was not present at the hearing. Yes, there happens to be the forgery of the ex officio superior court clerk. Yes, the duress of the signature on the weapon surrender form. Yeah, the petitioner herself didn't sign it. Yes. I wasn't in Sequim, Washington, and you wouldn't admit the evidence? Yes. And then there was the concern about serving somebody other than the respondent. Pooh, pooh, pooh. And then there were the fraudulent statements and the violating of the administration of the court's use of state court forms. So you actually have to put the petitioner's name on these forms and the date of birth. Yes. You have to have the name of the respondent. Yes. And the date of birth. And then you cannot have fraudulent statements of having received actual notice when I didn't. Ooch, ooch, ooch. And then it does require the acknowledgement of the protected person. Yes. And this signature has to be the same as that signature. Ooh. And she does have to sign it. As I mentioned, any individual that motions a court is obligated to appear in court on the day and time of the court hearing. Yes. Now, no one shall be held in slavery or servitude. True, true, true. You arrested me on January 4th of 2016 with the knowledge of the fraud of issuing the protection order. Then you arrested me again for wanting to reschedule a mental health evaluation, held me in jail for 27 days, which issued a failure to appear when I just asked. I said I would appear in court. Yeah. I emailed the police department what the response of a citizen should be. I said I wasn't evading going to court. I just wanted the notice from the state of jurisdiction that you kept sending to the wrong address for the last 5 years. And then no one shall be required to perform forced or compulsory labor. When you're in jail, you have to clean your own jail cells. Yes. And I was actually forced to perform compulsory labor while in jail. Yes, you was. You ever tried to tell the rest of the cellmates, well, I'm not doing any work? I was in a cell with 10 other cellmates, and they kind of thought I was going to be compulsed to do some labor. Now, when I'm cleaning the toilet or mopping the floors or making sure everything looks really good, okay, and I'm making 3 phone calls a day on a recorded line from jail to the public defender's office, yes, about there not being any jurisdiction, that this being malicious harassment. Then there's that trafficking in human beings is prohibited. Poach. I wanted to know. When you gave custody of my sons to my to my wife, yes. You remember that dissolution of marriage? Yes. I never got notice of court hearings. I never actually got the dissolution of marriage. Oh. And then there's a big question of my genetics. Did Heidi swallow when we were on Guam? Or did you use any of my sperm to make little babies? Pooch. Now, when I get to sue in the European Union for the knowledge of trafficking in human beings, ooch, you remember that. That happens to be a prohibition of trafficking in human beings in the European Union. Well, did the monsters? Ooch, did you decide to make a little communication system out of my sperm that wasn't swallowed? Now I'm gonna sue, okay, the European Union, and the United States. And you'd say, well, there's nothing. Okay.